pretty important when you're warming your fingers and your wrists up.
Indigenous people have to this land its rich cultural heritage.
Make a snack called Bombay chips. We're about to launch in a big way at the end of May. Hopefully, we have 2 flavors coming out of potato chips: Bombay spice and black salt.
We want to celebrate Holy, much like Melanie just said. I'll be helping release a beer with artists, and we're putting on a Holy Festival in on March 23rd. Come get your Indian rock and roll. Peace.
Thank you so much. And this morning, we have a speaker who spent years swing dancing, Lindy hopping, and still listens to big band music on a regular basis. He is the co-founder and lead rider of Bike Monday Bros Cycle Group. He's also a cat dad of 9. Yes, 9 amazing cats. And also a professional artist. Meet Ramsey, who is the owner-operator of the vibrant Found Punk Studio, where each piece is a tapestry woven from machine parts, intriguing metals, weathered wood, and an assortment of found treasures. I am so glad you're with us today to share your perspective on perspective, and we can cue the music.
I think very deeply. I think very deeply.
Can you guys hear me? Oh, there we are. All right, first of all, I'd like to thank all of y'all for taking some time out on a Friday to come out and listen to a guy like me speak. Coming out to Creative Mornings, this is great. Thank you for coming out. I really appreciate it. I'm pretty sure they appreciate it, so, you know. So, all right. So here's the scenario. Back in 2012, this is where my whole steampunk, found punk thing and my whole artistic career kind of really like shifted focus and shifted perspective. How about that? So in 2012, I was walking past a friend's desk because I worked at a design firm downtown. Walking past his desk, he had steampunk on his desktop, on his computer. Have you ever been stopped in your track like a cartoon character? I just stopped and was like, what is that? And it just grabbed my attention. The first thing I was like, this is everything I really wanted it to be. It was artistic, it was antiques, it was beautiful, it was like structurally designed really well, and I wanted to learn more about it. So basically, that first week I saw that, let's see, I came up with this in my studio. Now, you could have gone to Staples and got a paperclip holder, but where's the fun in that? So I just went home, went to my studio, and started designing this paperclip holder. And it was the start of something like grabbing my attention, like this is what you want to do, dude. Come on. And so this is what I wanted to do. And so I started off doing steampunk. So from 2012 to 2013, I was doing everything kind of cold. I didn't know how to weld. But in 2013, I got to a literal crossroads. Like literally, there was a crossroads in what my direction for the future was going to take me. And if you want to hear more about that, we could talk about that later. But it changed my life, literally, to learn how to weld and everything. And so I started welding every night. I'd come home off of work. I'd change clothes, I'd eat dinner, and then I'd be out in the studio, be out working, just honing them skills, just getting everything straight. Because I didn't know where it was going to go. I was like, I got a job. I mean, I'm doing this as a hobby. I like doing it. Why not do it? June 30th, 2016, I lost my job as a graphic designer. Well, I didn't really lose my job. I knew where it was. They just didn't want me to show up there because that would be awkward, you know? So I essentially was like, okay, I'm done doing graphic design. I'm going to be a professional artist from now on. This is going to lay it out. I'm retired from graphic design. This is my direction now. And so my whole perspective changed on how I was going to live, how I was going to make money, where I was going to go with the rest of my life, basically. Because I was like, if I'm going to do it, you got to do it all the way. You know, you can't half-heart this thing. And so I started doing all my art, trying to get everything where I needed it to be, as far as what am I going to do? I'm going to be a painter. Am I going to be a welder? Am I going to be a sculptor? What am I going to do? So after I lost my job, what do you do when you lose your job? You start hanging out at coffee shops. And that's what I started doing. So I started hanging out at coffee shops and everything. And I remember the day after I lost my job, I walked into Crossroads Coffee. My man Maurice was behind the counter. And I walked in, he was like, hey, how's it going? How's this, and that? I was like, everything's good. I just lost my job yesterday. And he was like, congratulations. And I was like, what'd you just say to me? And he was like, yeah, congratulations, because now you're free to do the work that you want to do. And probably the work that you have to do or need to do, and the universe is telling you this is where you need to go. And so after I thought about that, I was like, okay, that makes sense. I never thought of it that way, but okay. Because, you know, you live your whole life working for somebody else, you know, and you don't understand that you could do it on your own. I wasn't brave enough to like, oh, I'm going to quit my job and be a full-time artist. That's crazy talk. So I had to be pushed, and the universe was like, hey, you've been building your wings every night after you got home from work. Now it's time for you to fly. And it pushed me off the cliff, and I was ready to fly when I didn't even know it. And so, you know, that was, okay, maybe this will work. So after Maurice gave me my congratulations, I kind of settled into it. He gave me my first job. And that was turning this monstrosity, which is basically, it was the Birdhouse Farmers Market had a teardrop trailer that they needed renovated so they could use it for marketing. And this is what it looked like when I got it. And so I started working on it. And this was at a time where I was like, I never worked on a teardrop trailer before. There's nothing saying that I can't. I can always try something new. I'm free to do that now. You know, there's nothing telling me, hey, you can't do this. So my creativity was like, yeah, give it a try. So, and, you know, I kind of cleaned it up a little bit, you know. It was a fun gig. And so this is the outside of it. And so, you know, you just don't know what you're capable of until you're kind of like pushed into it a little bit. And you try to fight that fear of, I can't do this. This is too big for me. I mean, there are going to be times where you should probably say, yeah, this is too big for me. I can't do this. But it's okay. I mean, sometimes you just have to go in that direction. But yeah, he saw me able to do it when I didn't even know I could do it. So he was coming at it from a whole different direction. So after all that, I got a job where it was like, okay, I need to start working inside. I need to find my own space and invest in myself. And so I got a project. I made a good chunk of money off of it. It's like, hey, I need to find a space for myself. Because I was working outside at my house, and, you know, you can't really weld when it's snowing outside. And I learned that the hard way. And so, you know, I got to invest in myself. It was like, okay, now I'm starting to really think about where my future's going to go and how to make it sustainable. And being able to work inside was making that sustainable. So started working inside. And from then I was like, this is really, really something I could do, I think. You know, I started hearing from people at the coffee shop, like, hey, I know a guy, Ramsey, he could do that. And I was like, okay, I could do that. So people started giving me jobs and stuff like that so I could be able to do the things that I haven't thought about doing and kind of find my niche in this market, find my market share as far as being a welder, an artist, and kind of putting both those together, plus giving people what they're looking for, like railings for their houses and stuff like that, you know. So that was pretty much what the boost was for me to keep proceeding in this direction. It was also because people started seeing me in a different way that helped me, like, okay, get that confidence. You know, I didn't know about how confident I could be in doing this kind of thing. So people started saying, hey, you could do it. Can you do this for me? Here's your practice. Try this, try that. So I gave it a shot, and nothing's been cut off at the house yet, so I guess I'm doing something right. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, and it gave me the freedom, gave me the ideas of what it means to be free. Yeah, money comes and goes. I learned that. I feel I have a lot less money in my bank account now, but the freedom to take on those jobs, to be places, to go and sit down for coffee on a random Tuesday afternoon with a friend, that's really much more important to me. And being able to make those decisions to be able to take the jobs that I want to take, okay, I could do this one. This is going to be fun. This is going to be fun. No, I can't really do that job. Those are the things that make life a lot more richer to me, I mean. So, let's see. All right. Yeah. Working for yourself, you get to choose the jobs that you kind of want to take. This is for Sankofa Garden. They called me up and was like, hey, can you do this, this PDF or this JPEG? Can you do that as a sculpture for our garden? I was like, yeah, sure. I never did Sankofa as a sculpture. There's nothing saying I can't do it as a sculpture. Let's do it. So, and I created this piece. And it was fun because it was like my first real effort in doing sculpture. But they understood that, hey, like I said, people like, hey, I think you could do it. You're that guy. I started getting the moniker of the Southside Renaissance Man. And that was cool because when I had jury duty, the defense lawyer recognized me because they did a background check on me, and it was like, hey, Mr. Ramsey, the Southside Renaissance Man. I was like, okay, that's me. And it was funny because the bailiff started calling me, hey, it's the Southside Renaissance Man. I was like, how do you get famous in court without being in trouble? And that was like, okay, this is cool. This is something I never thought would happen. So, but yeah, I started working differently on different projects, taking the things that I wanted to do. This is out there on Sharps Island in the river. And it's the first time I did a portrait of a guy. And this is Edwards the Fisherman. All found object piece. Never did a piece this big with nothing but found objects. And he turned out fantastic. And I never would have had that opportunity had I been sitting behind a desk pushing pixels. I mean, it was just not my time it was just time for me to go at that point. I was like, this is where I need to be. This is what I want to start doing. This is what I need to be part of. Part of the community, putting something out there where people can see it, people can walk up to it, touch it, and be around its energy. When I had this guy in my workshop, I would come in, say good morning to him or good afternoon to him, and I would leave, I'm like, good night, Edwards. He wouldn't say nothing back, but I understood. So, but yeah, he's one of the greatest pieces I've ever done, and I'm really proud of him. He got knocked down during the flood, but he was all there. I thought he was down in Norfolk somewhere because I was like, damn, he's gone. But he was still on the island. So what we did was we went back, set him back up, and re-welded him like a lot stronger than he was, and he's still there to this day. So I'm really happy about that. So. And this is Augusta, the sturgeon. This is through Culture Works. And what had happened was, they looked out, hey, can you, take in, applications for artists and stuff like that. I was like, okay, cool, I'll put it in. I never did a 10-foot fish before, so I'll give it a shot. Why not, right? So I put it in, I got accepted. It was like, okay, yeah, this is great. Started working on her because they accepted the proposal and the concept, which is whatever man puts into the river, it ends up in the wildlife. And that's why you have these found objects inside of her stomach that's visceral. On the outside, she looks great, shiny and stuff, but on the inside, she could be ruined because of what mankind has done to the river. So she's out there at the Roslyn boat ramp in Colonial Heights. And, when I was working on her, I planned on doing a 10-foot fish. So I made the body 10 feet and hadn't put the tail and the head on yet. And I was like, okay, she's gonna be 14 feet. And I've never done a 14-foot fish before, so I think she worked out. I think she worked out just fine. And she's a beautiful fish, and I love her to death. It's the same thing. I'll be like, good night, Augusta. And so she's out there at the Roslyn boat ramp. And that's another part of me being part of taking my creativity and adding it to the community so the community enjoy it, In the only way that I know how, I'm not trying to be, I can't be a muralist because there's much better muralists out there than I am, so I'm not trying to get into that space. But I want to be kind of community-oriented in some ways in the way that I can do it. And the only way I can do it is if, somebody say, hey, can you do this? And I do the best I can for that, So this is Augusta, and she's hanging out, and everybody in the community, I was out there, and they were like, when we did the opening, some guys were like, hey, there's some guys that came around here that look like stone cold fishermen, right off the boat, just like fishermen with a scraggly beard, and they were like, I like this. I was like, I like that they like that. That's what it's there for, You don't have to be an art critic to like something that's in public, and they apparently like this one, So, all right. Speaking of community, me and a couple of artists, Andre Johnson and Dallas Rockmore, these cats up here, we are starting to think more about how do you get people to collect art, and not have, because people think that to be a collector you have to have a whole lot of money. Their perspective is coming like, okay, you can't be dirt poor. You have to have money to be able to collect. Well, we want to change that. We want to change the way people think about collecting art, buying art. And so this is something that we're coming up with. We're just trying to form this thing to make it so that you could buy art, really good art from original artists, and collect pieces from them, everything for under $100 to start with. And that's just because we understand how important art is. Everybody deserves to have art, no matter how poor you are or how poor you think you are. So we're trying to figure out a way to make it accessible for everybody. You don't have to buy go to an auction with $30 million to buy a piece of art that you kind of like. You can buy art, for $20 that you really like, and collect 3-4 pieces of that piece, of that art, from that artist. So this is something that through looking at what the community has to go through, what people, understand, how art is important to the psyche, to the energy in your house, to how you feel every day. You could walk, and I've done this recently. I've walked past a piece of art on the wall that I did years ago and just stopped and stared at it. It's like, it makes your brain, it makes you stop and calm down for a second. And that's how important art is. We're all on, scrolling through this and scroll. That's not making your mind slow down or stop and think and give it a rest. It's like a treat. It's like giving your brain a donut. Enjoy this for a second, And so this is some of this is what we're trying to do. Trying to get more into the community and try to change perspectives of what art can be and how important art is to people, and giving them accessibility to art. So we'll see how it goes. We're just starting. We'll see how it goes. Another thing that really changed my perspective about what you're able to do with the tools and the energy and the access that you have, okay? Me and my best friend started riding bikes in 2017. Just because. It's like, why we stop riding bikes? We used to like riding bikes when we were kids. Why we stop? And so we started riding bikes. It was 2 of us. Then another friend came on. It was like, oh, I have to work. I'm off on Mondays. All right, let's start riding bikes on Mondays. Some brothers riding bikes on Mondays. Bike Monday bros. So it just made sense. There had to be a hashtag somewhere, so I had to figure that part out. And so we started riding bikes, and then our friend Jay got on, and so it was 4 of us riding bikes. And then everybody knows what happened in 2020. Everybody was here for that. The world fell apart. Statues were coming down. Racism was high. And the community was just, everything was going nuts. So taking the energy and the capabilities that we had in our own little thing, we're riding bikes, what can we do there? We asked ourselves, what can we do in this moment to bring the community together? Let's put together a unity ride. Why not? Let's do that. And so we put it up on Instagram and Facebook. Hey, we're riding bikes. Meet us at Monroe Park, this date, this time. And so we just put it out there, and we didn't know if we were going to get 5 people, 50 people, or 500 people. And so we showed up, and there was 300 people that rode with us that day through the city of Richmond. Everybody was having fun. We were talking to people. We were chilling out. We were just like, it was like we brought the entire community together just to do something fun to kind of release that pressure, to get all this weight of COVID and statues and Confederate flags off of our chests, and just get everybody back to reminding ourselves how good life can be without all the crap, you know? And so that's what Bike Mondays Bros did. So from 2018, 2020, we started riding on Mondays, and then people started coming out on Mondays. Every Monday we ride is just like, wow, y'all really want to hang out with us? It was like, and I don't know how this happened, but I became the lead rider. I don't know how that happened, but people were like, I was like, okay, I'll take it. I'll take that responsibility. I trust myself to try to be the best leader I can be. And so, people still are willing to follow me, so I hadn't let them down yet, nor do I intend to let them down. But I realized how to be a leader. Sometimes you have to be in the back following to be a good leader, And sometimes, we'll be riding and stuff like that. We have some stragglers behind us. I'm like, y'all keep going. You know where we're going. Tell one of the guys, hey, take them to Stella's or whatever so we can get some beer. I'll hang back here and make sure everybody's behind, everybody's with us. And I'll end up riding with the last person in the group. Sometimes that's how you lead, right? You have that compassion. You have that idea of, you have to look at it in the perspective of who needs help, and I'm here to help as best I can with the capabilities and the tools that I have. And I guess that's why people continue to follow me. I don't know. So, but it's a fun gig. I swear to God, I loved it. Love it to death. So, but yeah. So also in 2020, and this is one of those things where it's like I had to be in the right place at the right time. I was picking up some metal at metal supermarkets, and a friend of mine, showed up there. Was like, hey, we got this gig where we have to, put these stands together to sterilize masks and stuff, because everybody, masks were on hold. People couldn't get masks. People were trying to do their best to kind of sterilize the masks the best they could. So he came up and was like, hey, can you help us make these racks for MCV so they could sterilize the masks for the nurses and the doctors? There's no, when we're going to do it, come over today. Let's do it today. I don't care, and to be able to have that ability to shut everything down in your workshop and say, yes, this is what needs to happen, and we're going to make this happen because this is much more important than anything I got to do in the workshop right now. And that was something that I was like proud to be able to say, hey, let's come over as much as you can, we'll work. And we busted out all the racks within a week or so like that. It was a crazy turnaround. We were pulling down like 9-10 hours in the workshop, in my small workshop basically. And it was like 4 of us just kind of busting. So, being able to do that gave me the idea of or gave me the perspective of being able to stop what you're doing and help as best you can. You know, I'm not saving the world or nothing, but you know, I could weld some racks together, you know, get those to people who need them. And so that was 2020 for me. And you know, it just changed the way I looked at things. I guess it was always there. I just never had the opportunity to be able to express it. You know, it was always like, be part of this, be part of the community, do the best you can for what you need to do or what the important things are. And I was able to do that now because I wasn't strapped to, you know, doing, you know, work at a computer or something like that. I mean, it's fine for some people. It's just not for me. It's just not something I need to do, you know, anymore. So now I do art, yeah. So which I think is much better. Art and coffee, and cats. Apparently cats. Apparently lots of cats. Apparently. But yeah. Also, I you know, I went from painting anyway. So I started looking at my fence and everything. It was like, hey. Again, community-oriented, I started wanting to put inspirational stuff on my fence at my house, just to bring some color to the neighborhood. Everybody else's neighborhood had murals. I was like, there's no murals around here. I got a fence. Why not? You know, I got some time, got some paint. And so I started doing these murals on the fence and everything like that. And this one right here, the one in the front, it came from an Avett Brothers song. It came from the song A Head Full of Doubt, which is like when you're working on your own and you got your own gig going, that makes a lot of sense, man. You know, because every once in a while you get, oh, what am I doing? I've asked myself, did I make the right decision? You know, all these doubts come in. So the song is A Head Full of Doubt, and the name of the piece is Decide What to Be and Go Be It, which is a song lyric in the first verse of their song. And that makes a lot of sense. And a matter of fact, that is a song, that song lyric just actually becomes my mantra now. Decide what to be and go be it. And that's exactly what I tried to do. And what I try to encourage other people to do. You know, because there's a lot of layoffs going on. There's a lot of things going on in this world where people can't control it. You know, people, and it's just like, look, there are things you could probably do to try to help just a little bit at a time. And you never know where it's going to go. I mean, it certainly helped for me. I mean, if it could work for me, I think it could work for almost anybody. Because I had no idea what I was going to do, you know. But I figured it out because, hey, I was doing it all along, you know. So decide what to be and go be it. That is the words to live by, really. Words to live by. So, also, I don't know how much time we have left. One last thing. You know that business that let me go back in 2016? Well, because I didn't burn any bridges, I didn't walk out the door and be like, "Oh, screw you up." Yeah, I didn't like burn that bridge. They came back to me now, and they have 9 work tables in their workshop, in their offices, you know. So, you know, if you take anything away from what I said today, I don't know if there's stuff you can glam onto or like, hey, I can take this and take that. Decide what to be and go be it. Don't burn any bridges. Do whatever you can within the space, and don't try to like save the world. Save your neighborhood, save your little community, save your friends. Do as little as you can to in the capacity that you can to help save whatever you can. Okay? That's it. That's
That's good. That's good. So good. Am I on? We're going to take maybe just if anyone has a real good question, I can throw this at you. I think. Is it on?
It's not working.
It's not
Y'all
working.
can hear me. I'm interested in this whole concept of dirt poor art collecting. Almost every piece in our house, we know the artist. Are you guys showing anywhere? Are you bringing artists together at a place where we can come give you our money?
Oh, whoa, whoa! Hold on to that thought. You know.
I knew this was a question you wanted to ask.
That is something. Did Andre get this information? Okay, so what we're doing, we're starting off right now because I do my Catterday art sale. I start off doing Catterday art sale because these cats are expensive. So I do that on weekends. And a matter of fact, I have one coming up. Shameless plug. One coming up tomorrow and Sunday. So I started doing that on Facebook, and it seemed to work well. You know, people like, you know, I posted image information, and people like sold, and I'm like, okay, it's sold. You know, so it's kind of like straight up like that. So we're doing dirt poor like that too, and that's coming up on the 23rd and 24th. So it's coming up in a couple of weeks. Well, next week I think. So we're doing that on Facebook. At the end of the year, we're planning on trying to have its own standalone website so that people can go on. So you don't have to sign up for Facebook. You don't have to sign up for Instagram. And it'll be like a live website where people can go and be like, hey, I want this piece of art, you know, sold, you know, this, and that, and make comments and stuff like that. And so we're going to try to get that done at the end of the year, kind of like before the fall, maybe September, October. So because this is such an important thing to me, this is what happened. I was broke as crap a couple of months ago, and laying on the sofa, I was like, what am I going to do for money? It's like, money's coming. A dirt poor art collector. What? 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm up online looking to see if somebody already got that. And I'm like, this is happening. So I hit it up. I talked to these 2 guys about it, and they were like, great idea. So I instantly got the Instagram and Facebook. So right now we're just trying to structure it so that we could participate, you know, get other artists in participation in it, the rules and regs that we want to have on it, the facts and stuff like that. So that's what we're trying to get together right now so we could launch it in the fall. So, you know, stay tuned.
Great question. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Give us your info.
I'll give one more question. I think we have somebody right down there. Yes, I was just going to say that. Yeah.
I have work at Media Noche at Stony Point Fashion Park, and she has a great shop there. That place is beautiful. Mostly Virginia artists and stuff like that, if not all. I have work at Stuff RVA and Scott's Edition, and she also has a lot of great art there. So.
Awesome.
Any more questions?
Thank you so much. Keith, are we good? Yeah. Thank you so much.